Hey everybody, it's Joseph here with I want to give you a quick update with the Zack Snyder Justice League cut. So recently, in a recent podcast, Warner Entertainment chief Robert Greenblatt made a few interesting statements, and one of them being that the cost of the Zack Snyder Justice League is going to cost way beyond 20 or 30 million dollars, and that's something I kind of relate to you, knowing personally how much post production costs. And so I know that's the PR move that would cost 20 or 30 million. I suspect, and based on different articles that were written, it's going to cost anywhere from 70 to 100 million dollars to complete Zack Snyder's version of the Justice League. Now, Chief Warner Entertainment, um, Robert Greenblatt, further went on to say that essentially there is no cut that exists to just slap on the special effects and color correction. So what it turns out to be is something that I kind of mentioned to you, being that it was just a rough cut. And when I kind of delve deeper into those articles, or to what he's saying, I get the impression that as we're moving forward, Zack decided that he wants to not only do his version of Justice League, but I got the impression that there were subtle changes that are coming that wasn't maybe expected during the first incarnation of the rough cut. So essentially, he's putting together his version of the Justice League. So there's a lot of things that have to be done. Um, and that's probably the main reason why they said it's going to be released in 2021. Now, if it's true that all these things have to get done before it's on HBO Max, I would expect a late 2021 release. Um, Now, also, what I heard is that some of these conversations that took place with Zack go back half a year. So it's very possible that once some of that news got settled, that he already started putting that cut together. And so, you got to be optimistic and see where it goes. But as I reiterated in my previous video, that it's going to cost more than 20 or 30 million dollars. Um, it's an extreme rough cut. The great thing is that the footage is there. Like I mentioned to you, it's about 4 hours, maybe even more of footage that exists. And so the other thing we got to remember, as I mentioned to you, is that Warner Media and HBO is owned by AT&T. And so we know how much money AT&T has. And so obviously the investments that they're putting forward was greenlit, obviously by AT&T, but also pushed by Warner Media and HBO. And so that's something we have something to look forward to. Another aspect of this is the complications of not only getting this film done, but you got to remember, you have to have several clearances, not only from the Directors Guild, the Writers Guild, the Actors Guild, and you have agents involved. You have a lot of actors involved. All these guilds and the actors and their agents have to come to some agreement because there has to be compensation. Um, this is going to be put out for profit. So essentially, this is another movie, especially when you have to have actors come in to do voiceovers or do additional dialogue. Um, they're not going to do it for free, especially like I said, with HBO wanting to market this and use this to get only subscribers to HBO Max. And so that's something to remember. We'll pick it up here if more developments happen. But like I mentioned before, coming from the horse's mouth, Warner Media executive Robert Greenblatt made it known it's going to cost a lot more than $30 million. And essentially, what he confirmed that it's a very, very rough cut. And so Zack still has to go in there and put this movie together in a cohesive way, so that there's something to show the audience. So Keep it here on Zenny62, and don't forget to like and subscribe.